What BS are you dealing with at work right now? Lately, whenever the mother of one of my students pisses off the father they divorced 4 months ago, he will send all 3 of their kids in mismatched clothes with shirts that have some variation of "I love my dad" or "Daddy's kid." I have not seen the same shirt twice and believe mom throws the shirts out and dad just keeps buying more. I'm sorry, but that's hilariously petty. I do feel sad for the kids though. It must be disheartening to be used that way between parents. My 16-year-old daughter found out her mother cheated on me, and harbors some resentment towards her for breaking up our family. My daughter, on her own, bought an "I love my dad" t-shirt just to piss her mom off. Everything is done in an improvised fashion, even when it's identical to something we've done 100 times before. They refuse to create any kind of system or structure for doing anything, and it drives me up the wall. Every single time, every question, every form, every action, everything needs to be run through 100 different people and approached as if it's a brand new thing, even if it's routine paperwork we do multiple times a week. It's the most incredible waste of time. Let's say I traveled from Phoenix to Tucson and I need to be reimbursed for gas. I'll go pull out the exact same piece of paperwork I used last time. I'll fill in the extremely basic blanks that I did last time. Name, travel date and time, mileage, gas receipt, sign and date. Submit the form. A day later, I get an email. "Oh hey, here you put Tucson but you need to put Tucson, Pima County, AZ. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope. Looks good. Resubmit." A day later, I get a phone call. "Oh hey, here you put JJ Jameson but you need to put J Jonah Jameson. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope. Looks good. Resubmit." A day later, someone pops in my office. "Oh hey, here you put Pima County, AZ and J Jonah but it needs to just say Tucson, AZ and J Jameson. Oops. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope. Looks good. Resubmit." It finally goes through. 2 weeks later, I travel from Phoenix to Tucson and need to be reimbursed for gas. I pull out the final version that finally went through last time, just 2 weeks ago. After all the changes, I change nothing except the date, time and attach the new gas receipt. A day later, I get an email. "Oh hey, here you put Tucson, AZ but now it just needs to say Tucson. Oh hey, here you put Phoenix but you didn't include the zip. Oh hey, here you put J Jameson but it needs to say J Jameson Jr. ESQ. Oh hey, here you put that it's 113 miles but we decided to start rounding to the nearest 5 so it should 115 miles. Oh hey, here you put 115 miles but an hour ago we decided it needs to be rounded to the nearest 10,000th of a mile. Oh hey, we decided to do away with zip codes on these forms. Every single time. Being scheduled on basically every day I was supposed to have off. I manage all the tools, parts, and materials for a small electrical company. We have a ton of little fittings, couplings, and such that are very small and have multiple parts. We recently let one of our journeymen go, and I'm in the process of clearing out his van. Turns out he was hoarding tens of thousands of fittings in his van, all mixed together with absolutely no organization. To top it off, at least 60% of them were completely disassembled before being just chucked into drawers, boxes, and bags along with mixed bolts, nuts, fasteners, etc. So it is now my job to take these collections of assorted hardware and dump them out, separate them, and reassemble as many as I can before restocking them in my already overflowing shop. I have a vendor who gives me the same answer every day that I email him. "Let me check and get back to you." His shipment has slipped by over 2 months at this point and it's driving me nuts. He's doing the same thing to other people in my office on other projects. He's on a quick list to be blacklisted, but unfortunately, the clients love his stuff. A third party keeps insisting that an individual worked for my company. They did not. We have searched everywhere. We have punched in every variation of their name, birthday, social security number into our system. Dude didn't work here. And well, this other woman says he did isn't an argument. My boss asked if I would be working tomorrow afternoon. When I said yes, He ominously replied, "Interesting. Turns out my boss completely forgot even saying this to me. He was wondering if I would be working in the afternoon because he's bringing his daughter in and knew I would want to see her. Thank you all for taking so much interest in this. I'm a 23-year-old woman working a college job. I found it beyond funny some of y'all was suggesting I was banging his wife or vice versa. It's my boss's birthday. Not a lot of folks respect her. I'm new to the department and was asked by Don to collect money on Friday to get her flowers. He was going to bake a cake and bring it in. He was sick yesterday so didn't come to work. I collected a measly $19 from others. Awkward AF because no one even likes her. Topped it up with my own 10 to get a decent bunch of flowers. Bought yesterday evening and brought in this AM. Don is in and says I couldn't find the money you collected. Do you have it? I said I used it yesterday to buy the flowers. Wasn't that the plan? He replies with an attitude, well no. I ask why it matters and he says well I couldn't bake the cake because I was sick so I don't know what we're going to do now if the money's used up. Another girl nicely chimes in that she will run out and grab a cake and don't worry Don, it's all fine. Don's a snippy guy so I don't bother asking him how I was to know he's too ridiculous to go get a cake himself. Others are running around asking me if I've seen the money because apparently Don's making it well known that I was supposed to collect money but no one has seen the envelope obviously. I took it yesterday. Then I have to explain that I used all the money so I look stupid. Keep throwing in that I was doing exactly as was asked of me but Jesus Christ Don, would it kill you to communicate your change of plans to people? Bar manager and 20% of the staff quit. Owner hasn't hired anyone. It's been 3 months. No one can take unexpected days off or call in sick and inventory is at an all-time low. Except the kegs. So many kegs. We keep running out of fucking everything. I and others have offered to help over the summer and nothing has come of it. The restaurant is expanding and we need more employees but my boss is too focused on having us dust during construction, replacing glassware with crystal, and setting up public accessible training courses to bother with actual management. Oh, and communication is non-existent. So I regularly show up to work and have no idea where shit is or what the new procedures are. Sounds like you need to go talk to the bartender circle of your city and find a new place where you'll be appreciated. Trying to move this ass 40 feet fiberglass ladder on my own since everyone called in. I work with a woman who CCs her boss on all emails. Her boss follows up on all of the emails 5 to 10 minutes later. They looks like this. Woman: hey Ganglebot, we're starting this new thing so can you send us X, Y and Z when you have a chance, thanks. Her boss. 5 minutes later. Ganglebot: as per woman's initial request. We need these things to move forward. In our previous meeting on May 4th, at 2 p.m. you indicated you could send these to us. I ask you to please send these along ASAP as our initiative depends on good information. Please confirm receipt and indicate when we can expect these documents. This brings back flashbacks. I had a dude that got a promotion into my department that I applied for but didn't get. Because the guy knows absolutely nothing how things work, I agree to take on some of his responsibilities and show him the ropes until he is comfortable enough to take on the job himself. The dude up one day on a report and pisses off management. He sends a email to me CCing my boss and his boss and some other people who didn't even need to be on it, trying to put the blame on me and calling me out, making me look bad. I unleashed a shitstorm on this guy, but I didn't CC everyone because it's stupid. The dude ended up apologizing to me in person and just said it was his fault and he got mad because management was shitting all over him. I just told him if you had an issue with something come to me. No reason to put me on blast like that and make me look bad for no reason. Lol, sorry for the rant, but that's what your story reminded me of. I hate people who CC for no reason. I handed in my notice at work and my boss suddenly stopped talking to me. Girlfriend took the time off in advance to see a best friend she hasn't seen in 2 years for literally 1 day. Work is currently telling her that they're scheduling a mandatory employee meeting everyone needs to go to or else you get fired. Keep in mind there is barely anything important that ever gets announced at these. I was offered a job at another location. I told my boss about it and my current company offered me a raise to stay. I took it. It's been 2 months and I haven't seen the raise in my paycheck yet. I emailed my boss and asked for an update. They assumed I understood that the raise would begin at our new fiscal year, which starts July 1st, so it will be in my next paycheck. Depending on where you live, that is very illegal and they owe you money. That being said, you got it on paper, right? Jeff cuts his fingernails every day in his office. How do they grow so fast? Is he a werewolf? Also, he scrapes every last tiny bit out of his yogurt container. It's so loud and he does it for like 3 minutes straight. Boss doesn't understand how time works. I had a boss once come to me and say, "Stop what you're doing. Nothing else matters. Focus 100% of your time on this." So I did. The next week he comes to me again and says the same thing, literally word for word. I remind him that I'm not finished the super important thing from last week and he says it doesn't matter. The new thing is important. Put 100% of my time on it. The following week he comes to me and asks me if I finished the first task. No, I say, I stopped working on it to work on the new task. But, he says, I told you to work on it 100%. I said, you want me to work 100% on task A, and 100% on task B? Yes. Yes he did, not 50-50, 101/100ths. He didn't understand time. I'm at an internship I was extremely excited to have and learn from. I haven't done any work the past 2 weeks. Skeptical smiley face. Sounds like you're an engineering student. 2 of my co-workers were promoted out of the department and no one was hired to replace them, leaving me to do the work of 3 people minimum. Upon expressing that my own hours weren't enough time to get the work done, even with overtime, I was told, you have to get it done. If you can't get it done, it means we'll have to find someone else who will. Robot. What you're looking for is a robot willing to work 24/7 for a barely living wage. Got it. Glad to know the company values my mental health. I do sound for cover band at a hotel that feels like they're better than or at least equal to an act that sells out stadiums. Every night I deal with 5 60-plus-year-old musicians with expectations that would make Mariah Carey say that's too much. Client had a full 10 months to review a demo site that we had up. They made a couple of nitpicks and claimed they were happy with it. The site went into staging a few weeks ago and they immediately came up with a list of 50+ issues with it and demand it be fixed or they won't renew the contract. For some reason I thought my contract was up end of August. It isn't. It's up at the beginning of August. I talked to management and it was a total surprise to them. And now they're scrambling to possibly get me a salaried position like they promised, but also saying I don't know. The budget might not let us. So I don't know if I'll have a job by the end of the month. Or if they'll manage to create something before I leave. Either way, I'm looking for jobs. I'm an editor, communications specialist for an online college. They hired me on as an intern last summer, talking about how they were going to offer me a full-time job when I graduated. By the end of my internship, they said they would look into getting me a part-time, temporary position. I, needing money and figuring it was a good resume builder, stayed there during my final semester, working once a week as a student worker. Got a call late November, early December about how the lead editor, my supervisor, was stepping down to part-time and they needed someone to fill the gap. Since I applied to 35+ jobs and none panned out, I took it, and got a significant raise from my previous wage. I argued with them for a while about why I couldn't get hired and they gave me some BS about how they don't have time to hire people right now, while I wondered why they couldn't have just set the contract for 3 months and gotten going in the meantime, because the need wasn't going away. Now, we got to the point that I outlined in my post. I'm out of work by the end of the month. But they're holding me over a barrel RN and it's frustrating. I don't even know if I should look for another job at this point. But they're well aware that they're on thin ice with me. My experience with them has been bait and switch the whole time I've been with them. I'll probably take it assuming they offer it, because everything I find online is more work for less money. Plus, this is a state job, which is cushy for someone my age, 22. What I'm making now is really decent for an English major, and for some reason the publishing industry thinks they can abuse graduates via unpaid internships instead of paying them a decent wage. So I'm not as interested in getting involved with it as I used to be, especially now that I'm making money. I just wish I got paid like everyone else for having 4th of July off after dragging our editing backlog out of the weeds. Hopefully it pans out. I've been staying with my parents because I didn't want to get locked in a lease without knowing I have a job here. So I have a ton of money saved up in case it doesn't. By the end of this month, I should know something. Thorough for the educational, corporate systems bureaucracy.